I think the 1500 world record is within my grasp.
Josh Kerr had just broken a world record that survived for decades. But before the celebration was even over, he revealed that he was already targeting another one.
I can continue to go after those records, and it's a great distance to go after. I will not tell my team that because they will be rather annoyed at me that I can't spend more than 3 hours with a world record and before I want to go after another one.
So how did Kerr go from a cold track in Edinburgh to believing he could take down two of the hardest records in running? The answer begins with a public promise called Project 222. Josh Kerr stepped onto the track at London Stadium with 60,000 fans watching him. Most of them were not just cheering. They came to see history. Kerr is 28 years old. Born and raised in Edinburgh, Scotland, he already had an Olympic bronze medal, a World Championship gold from 2023, and 2 world indoor titles sitting in his trophy case. But none of those medals came with his name next to the words world record. Not until this race. For months, Kerr had been talking about a number, 222. That is how many seconds he needed to beat the mile world record. His team even gave it a name, Project 222. The record he was chasing belonged to Hicham El Guerrouj. The Moroccan runner set it in Rome back in 1999 with a time of 3 minutes and 43.13 seconds. That record stood for 27 years. Runners tried and failed. Some got close. Nobody broke it. Kerr believed he could be different. In March, before his season even started, he announced his plan to the world. He said he was going after the record in London in front of a home crowd. That kind of announcement is risky. If you fail, everyone watched you fail in public. But Kerr has done this before. Back in 2023, he said he would beat Mo Farah's indoor 2-mile best. 2 months later, he did exactly that. So when he called his shot again, people who followed his career took it seriously. His coach, Danny Mackey, has worked with him since 2018. Kerr trains with the Brooks Beasts Club based out of Seattle and just extended his contract with Brooks all the way through 2034. That tells you how deep the trust runs between Kerr and his team. Mackey said something interesting about Kerr. He said Kerr's identity is not attached to the outcome. That means Kerr does not panic when the pressure builds. He trusts his training and lets the results speak for itself. Mackey even said he wishes time could freeze so he could keep coaching Kerr forever, and the training was intense. Kerr spent months at altitude in Albuquerque, New Mexico, over 5,000 feet above sea level. Running at that height makes your body work harder to get oxygen. When you come back down to normal elevation, your body performs better than before. One of his biggest workouts became famous among runners who follow the sport closely. 4 sets of 200 meters, then 600 meters, then 200 meters again. Short rest between each one. This built both his speed and his ability to hold that speed under fatigue. His sponsor Brooks built him custom spikes for the race. They were called the Hyperion 222, named after his target time. The company also built him a one-piece speed suit designed to cut down on air resistance. Every detail was planned around one single goal. Then came July 18th, race day. Kerr had 2 training partners running with him to control the pace, Brandon Kidder and Zan Rudolph. Kidder went out first, hitting the 400-meter mark in 54.75 seconds. That is an extremely fast opening lap. Kerr stayed just behind him, running 55.3. The pacemakers kept pushing. At 800 meters, Kerr passed the mark in 1 minute 51.1 seconds. Still on pace, still controlled. Then the pacemakers stepped off the track. This is the hardest part of any distance race. No one to follow. No one setting the rhythm. Just Kerr, alone, with the record in front of him and 365 days of preparation behind him. He kept pushing. At 1,200 meters, he hit 2 minutes 46.39 seconds. The crowd could feel it happening. 60,000 people, and every single one of them was on their feet. At 1,500 meters, Kerr crossed in 3 minutes 27.62 seconds. That number alone was already faster than his own personal best at that distance. He had 1 lap left, and he was already running faster than he ever had before. This is where most runners slow down. Their legs are full of lactic acid. Their lungs are burning. The body is screaming to stop pushing. But Kerr ran his final 400 meters in 54.87 seconds. A negative split, meaning his last lap was faster than his first. That almost never happens in a world record mile attempt. He crossed the finish line in 3 minutes 42.66 seconds. He had done it. He beat El Guerrouj's 27-year-old record by nearly half a second. The stadium exploded. Kerr threw his arms in the air and took a victory lap around the track. Behind him, American runner Yared Nuguse finished second in 3 minutes 45.69 seconds, more than 3 seconds back. It was not close. After the race, reporters rushed to get Kerr's reaction. What he said next is the part that stuck with people even more than the time itself. He talked about the pressure of calling his shot months in advance. He said it was overwhelming, with all the hype leading into the race. But he said he trusted the people around him and kept putting in the work. He said he always believed he had a 3:42 in him. Then he described the final stretch, the last 110 meters of the race. He said the noise from the crowd was so loud, he went completely deaf. He could not hear anything except his own legs and the track beneath him. Think about that for a second. 60,000 people screaming as loud as they possibly can, and Kerr could not even hear it. His brain shut out the sound completely, just to focus on finishing the race. That is what happens when a body pushes past its limit in front of a crowd that large. Kerr also admitted something honest in that same interview. He said it was silly to call your shot that early, because so many things can go wrong between announcing a goal and actually delivering on it. Injuries happen. Bad weather happens. Other runners can break the record first. None of that happened to him. Everything he planned for months came together on one single night. This record means even more when you look at British running history. Kerr became the first British athlete to hold the men's mile world record since Steve Cram back in 1985. Before Cram, Sebastian Coe and Steve Ovett actually traded the record back and forth 3 separate times, all within 10 days of each other in 1981. Before all of them, Roger Bannister became the first person ever to run a mile in under 4 minutes, back in 1954. Kerr said he studied that history before his own attempt. He knew he would be the 7th British runner to hold the record if he pulled it off. Running that record on British soil, in front of a British crowd, was not an accident. It was part of the plan from the very beginning, Kerr said it himself. If he was going to leave his mark on the sport, he wanted to do it as a British athlete, following the same path as the legends who came before him. And Kerr is not slowing down. Just hours after breaking the record, he was already talking about his next target. People close to the sport believe he could chase the 1,500-meter world record next, a mark that has never been run under 3 minutes 25 seconds by any man in history. For now, though, this moment belongs to him. Months of altitude training in Albuquerque, a public promise made before the season even started, custom spikes built around a single number. All of it led to one lap in London, in front of a crowd so loud it left him unable to hear his own finish. Josh Kerr did not just break a world record. He broke a record that outlasted an entire generation of runners, and he did it exactly the way he said he would.